Good morning, everybody. It is June 26, 2017, and you're watching MarketStream.live. We're checking out all the action that is occurring right now in Europe, and it has been solid upside action. The bulls are in control. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. And before I get started, I want to show you a really cool tool that I think can give you some seasonality perspective. And you go to the premium toolbox at MarketStream.live and you go to seasonal charts. And this is where you can plug in. Now, for example, FEZ. This is the 50 largest large cap stocks in Europe. In full disclosure, I do have my clients exposed to this currently right now. But this ETF right now, typically when you're looking at this chart, has a correlation to its past performance of around 52%. Ideally, we would like to see that over 70. Then we see a strong significance to the forecast that you would see. The green line is that correlation line, that forecast, and the actual action is right here with a 10-day forecast of potential movement. Now, of course, you take that always with a grain of salt, do your own due diligence, and the markets are random. They will do what they do, but we can get bits and pieces to help us make better decisions. And one thing that's notable is when you get into this June peak, then you get into July, right, where we see a potential pullback. FEZ right now, which is poised to open up a little bit higher this morning, is in a battleground. And we see that it has been pulling back now getting into the tail end of June. If the correlation coefficient holds, and with the 52% correlation, we should be looking at this saying, well, maybe it'll be a little guarded. And that's why I will bring up one thing that will give you some transparency on this. But the 20, the 30, the 40, and the 50-day forecast are all for this particular market ETF to go higher. And that, again, is calculated under the premium toolbox and seasonal charts. Now, taking a look, though, at FEZ, you can see it's in a battleground right now. That's what's notable here. If it breaks this red line, which is the 50-day moving average, that means the bulls are on their heels and the trend could be to the downside. You won't see support until 35. So this gives you context to all of these different types of indicators and so forth that you look at. Because right now the bulls are still in control in Europe. They've pulled back. They're in a battle. If they do bounce and go above $39, that means that they've taken back control. Now let's jump in and take a look at some of the larger components and indices in Europe. Taking a look first of all at the UK. The UK is bouncing this morning, and you can see that it's challenging its 20-day moving average after bouncing off the 50-day moving average for 4 sessions. The bulls look to be gaining some control. What's notable is overnight, the 2 large Italian banks are getting bailed out. It's going to cost about 17 billion euros to bail out these Italian banks. They have been under the banking structure in Italy has been in huge turmoil since November, October of last year. Well, those bailouts really gave financials a boost across the continent. That's what's leading right now, not only in the UK, but you're going to hear this, it's going to sound like a little bit like a broken record this morning, but finance is leading the way across the board. You also have some select consumer names, but the finance names that are moving to the upside in the UK are going to be the likes of RBS as well as HSBC. Now, switching gears, and you can also take a look at EWU today. Now, EWU really started to trade a little bit negatively over the last 5 sessions. You can see that it dropped precipitously through its 20 and 50-day moving average with this gap down. It's trading at $33. It's pre-market at $33.05. So obviously the bears right now in the UK ETF, they're a little bit negative. Let's see if that firms up this morning after the news out of Italy. Taking a look at the DAX. Now, the German index is trading up 72 points right now this morning. Again, bouncing off of that 20-day moving average. I just use this for context, folks. It doesn't give me anything more than a perspective on who is in control. And right now, the bulls have been in control, but there has been a huge grind for most of 2017, or at least the last 2 months of May and June. Let's see if July starts to get a little bit more of an action to the upside. Take a look at EWG. This is an ETF that you can follow that trades during our market hours. Looks like it's going to open up where it closed on Friday. But this ETF is in a battle zone right now. It's between its 20 and 50-day moving average. But what's notable is that most of the large cap stocks in Germany, all but one, are to the upside and in green. And what's most notable is Lufthansa. The large airline is actually up 3.1% right now in the German markets. Let's see if not only that is a boost or a catalyst for this ETF that tracks these German stocks, but that also could be a catalyst for the space. We've seen airlines been moving to the upside here in the States. Let's see if that continues. Finally, taking a look at the French CAC. You have the CAC now bouncing up above, opening above, and now above, trading above its 20-day moving average. That means that the bulls have gained back control after being in what was considered a pretty decent consolidation between the 20 and 50-day moving average. This is important for anybody that is investing in France. The consumer names, financial names are going to be the biggest ones, and they are also looking over not only at the Italian banks and the bailout there, and getting some stability. Also, last week with the Greeks getting their getting the tranche that they were looking for, but also a pickup in China, Hong Kong, and in the Asian region. That has been positive for French consumer names. Let's see if that's still a catalyst for the remainder of this week. All right, folks, that is it for On the Open in Europe. Join me at the Open here at MarketStream.live. We're going to be taking a look at all of the U.S. stocks and their openings. See you then.